Welcome back to Tea with the Shepherd. We are in 1 Timothy 2 today. So we're going to pick up in verse 1. I urge then, actually, let me read from the CJB, the Complete Jewish Bible again. First of all, then, I counsel that petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made for all human beings, not just the elite, because this is one of the things that was going on too, is that the ungodly were only praying for the elect. And he groups this into those that are ungodly. They're only concerned about themselves and self-righteousness, and they're only going to pray for the elect. But that is not to be your case. You are to pray for all human beings, even your enemies, including, and he goes into this, including kings and all in positions of prominence, so that we may lead quiet and peaceful lives, being godly and upright in everything. This is what God, our deliverer, regards as good. This is what meets his approval. So don't just pray for those that you like, or those that are in leadership, whether it's in government or in any position. Not just for those that you like or that you want to be there. You need to pray for even those that you don't like. And this is what pleases God. In verse 4, he wants all humanity to be delivered and come to full knowledge of the truth. So we don't just pray for those that we love and admire, just as we just said, or for people that we care about, but for the salvation of all of those, even the ones that we kind of just wish that bad things would happen to. We have to pray for the deliverance of every single person. That is the heart of God. It is not our responsibility to judge. It is God's. It is our responsibility to pray for those, even for our enemies. So verse 5, for God is one. Okay, here's where I was talking about yesterday. For God is one, and there is but one mediator between God and humanity. So only God, there's only one God, there's only one way to God. There is nothing else, no other mediator between God and us. Yeshua, the Messiah himself, human, who gave himself as a ransom on behalf of all, thus providing testimony to God's purpose at just the right time. This is why I myself was appointed a proclaimer, even an emissary or a disciple. I am telling the truth, not lying, a trustworthy and truthful teacher of the Gentiles. Now, this is an area that Paul is often dealing with, that he was having to defend the fact that he was ordained, he was appointed by the disciples. And oftentimes people were coming against his teaching, saying, you are... how can we trust you? You are not in authority to be able to speak to us. And Paul is continuing to say, no, I was appointed, I was ordained by the disciples that walked with Jesus to be in this position of authority. And more so than that, I was ordained by God himself as a herald. Okay, but also specifically that he was given the role to be a teacher of the true faith to the Gentiles. So a lot of the disciples were speaking to the Jews. Paul was given this role to the Gentiles. Even though he was a Jew, he was given authority to speak to the Gentiles and into these areas like where Timothy is in Ephesus. Last, we'll do verse 8, and then I am definitely going to be diving into the next part tomorrow because it's going to be a little bit longer and a very much more intense study. So let's just finish off here in verse 8. I want men everywhere to lift up holy hands in prayer without anger or disputing. In the CJB, therefore it is my wish that when the men pray, no matter where, they should lift up hands that are holy. They should not become angry or get into arguments. You're lifting up the holy hands, that is saying you're not sinning. You're not continuing to live in a life of sin. Do we sometimes sin as Christians? Yes, we're not perfect until we get to heaven, but we are continually striving to be sanctified, to be clean, to have that clean heart, as Paul's already talked about. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fail others. We're going to hurt each other. But that is our goal, is not to do that. Our goal is to live this quiet, peaceful life, as Paul talked about, to love each other, to take care of each other, to walk in truth, and to lift these holy hands in prayer without arguing and disputing, causing anger. So let's pick up here tomorrow, which is going to be quite the study and a place of controversy a lot of times. So I'm excited to dive into it though. So let's pick up there.